Hello. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to the channel if you're new here. Hello, I'm Ryan. Fucking hell. Hello, or Guten Tag, should I say. Last week I went to Berlin for 4 days to a wedding photography conference called Way Up North, and it was mint. So mint, in fact, that I couldn't actually get a ticket for the conference itself. So I was lucky enough to get on the volunteering team for Way Up North, so I could kind of work there and be part of the conference, as well as help out and meet all the amazing people that went to it. And I vlogged the whole thing, so I'm going to take you behind the scenes of it, and I hope you like it. And also, I wanted to explore, the theme of the conference was good enough. And don't worry, this isn't going to be some inspirational toxic positivity video about you are good enough, know your worth, we're in this together, man. Like, we got to figure this shit out ourselves. I get it, and quite frankly, whether I think you're good enough or not is kind of irrelevant. For the record, I probably do think you're good enough. Your friends will probably think you're good enough. Your clients will think you're good enough. The people you work with will think you're good enough. But it kind of don't give a shit, does it? Unless we feel it. Unless you think you're good enough, or I think I'm good enough. So, and yeah, this is something I've struggled with, and I still do struggle with. Just clearly not as often as I used to, which was probably daily. But yeah, on an artistic level, we worry about our work. Is our work good enough to share? Is it good enough for our clients to pay for? Is it good enough to be validated by our peers? But it's a lot deeper than that. It definitely is. It's about us. It's about ourselves. Actually, are we good enough? Am I a good enough dad? Am I a good enough partner? Am I a good enough friend? A good enough colleague? Am I a good enough artist? Am I good enough human being to be worthy of all these amazing things and privileges and people I have in my life? And we've got to figure that out and feel comfortable with the fact that we are good enough. But it takes some digging. And this isn't what today's about. This isn't what this video is about. It's not about soul searching or anything else. It's just about kind of letting you know that if you don't feel good enough sometimes, I don't feel good enough sometimes, and these amazing artists that I met last week and the wonderful people I met as well, they all think it too. None of us have got our shit together. We're all just figuring it out as we go along. So that's why the beauty of community is we get to help each other out as we go along on the journey. I'm going to take you behind the scenes of Way Up North, Berlin 2025, and I hope you enjoy the video. So after making it to Manchester Airport at 4 o'clock, having got up at what the fuck o'clock, I got there with coffee in hand, still not full of that pre-holiday excitement and energy you get when you get to the airport. As a proud Yorkshireman and lad, there's only one thing for it: cup of tea and a salt on the arteries with a cooked breakfast. Now this cooked breakfast was £16.50, but the good news was it was clap cold as well, so not all was lost. It was then time to make our way through to the departure gates, or what can also be known as Ryanair's holding pen for disgruntled passengers, which they inexplicably make you get to an hour before departure, even though the plane shows no sight of itself until at least 15 minutes before you're actually due to leave. The plane surprised us, arriving 20 minutes before departure time, and we were forced onto the back like a herd of cows and made to listen to the in-flight safety briefing. This was in fact futile, because had we been in a crash, there was no chance of me moving anywhere, having been so tightly wedged in my seat with the lack of legroom given by this wonderful airline. If you look closely enough, you can actually see the seat digging into my kneecap. I tried to lighten the mood by ordering a £5 cup of instant coffee, but as you can see, the tray table didn't actually fold down, so that was a no-go. But still, the sunrise was coming up in Manchester and we were getting the F out of England. Berlin, here we come. Berlin, here we are. Guten Tag. Arriving at Berlin Airport, I made my way through to the train station. With the piss holes over my eyes, I still managed to capture this photograph, which I actually quite like. The lighting composition in this airport was quite interesting. Still making my way to the train station to board the train to Alexanderplatz, which took about 35-45 minutes. I just clutched my bags, tried to keep my eyes open and make sure I didn't get mugged. After a short and uneventful journey, I arrived in Alexanderplatz and tried to figure out how to get out the station to get myself above ground into the hub of activity that is Alexanderplatz, Berlin. It really is a vibrant part of town, but there was no time to explore it as I was heading for the holy grail of the Premier Inn to get some much needed shut-eye and begging they'd let me check in early. check in early, which means I can get some sleep. Good. Oh, so I've just got checked in. Thank God they let me check in early because I've been up since 2 a.m. and I didn't even really sleep, so my eyes are just like piss holes, man. So it's only 11:30 and I did have ambitions of walking around and getting a coffee and stuff, but to be perfectly honest, I have to be at the check-in stuff tonight from 5:30 and we're going to be working through to like 10:30. No, we're not. We're going to be working through to potentially midnight, so I need some sleep to do everyone the justice. But we're here, Berlin, way up north, and sleep.
After 45 minutes of questionable sleep and rest, I was awoken to this loud trance music or someone having an ultrasound in the room next door. I couldn't quite decipher what it was, but anyway, it was a rude wake-up call and time to get out of the Premier Inn and explore Alexanderplatz. Lots of activity going on, and I decided to get the Leica Q3 out to see if I couldn't catch a couple of bangers. Spoiler alert, I didn't, but here's a scene which I found quite interesting in these people preaching about Jesus and this family clearly from a different religion just taking a selfie and going about their business. Nice juxtaposition, no award-winning shot here, but it was nice to press the shutter and get a shot off. Time for more nutrition. Fueled up on more fat, it was time to make my way over to the social hub to meet the other legends from way up north, and was absolutely blown away to be greeted by fellow YouTube superstar, Magic Wedding Photographer. How crazy that two of Europe's greatest content creators would be at the same wedding conference.
Alright, I'm gonna go back to my room.
Nice guy.
And your thing, and it was perfect.
Good.
Thank you.
I also whacked off this shot of the inside of the social hub because I quite like the light, and why not?
Yeah, we like independent content.
Sorting passes out into. So it passes out in a minute. It's 10 to 6.
With registration in full flow, it was a really great way to meet all of the other delegates who were coming to the wedding conference, and you could get a real sense of the scale and excitement of Way Up North. And people who'd been to this conference many times before, coming back, just scream volumes about how good this thing actually is. And I managed to get this shot, which I thought captured the vibe and the mood of the evening pretty well.
Phase 1, completed it.
It's so cute, isn't it?
It's the future.
It's the future.
Yeah. You don't
Abby,
need a camera anymore, you just need...
the thing is,
Mate.
here he is.
Yeah. Just need
No, it's a DJ Osmo Pocket 3.
need to wait for that.
You're on the vlog here, by the way. You're on the vlog here. YouTube famous. I've got 1,000 subscribers, you know. We've done that bit, and now we're going for a beer, and then we've got a 10:30 meet. Nina?
Hi.
Hello, there you go.
I'm stunned.
It's then time to make our way over to the Babylon Cinema, which will be the venue for Way Up North, and arriving there was kind of blown away by how amazing this building is, and just the lights, the building itself. And I managed to get this, one of my favorite still life photos I think I've ever got. I've got this thing at the minute about making things feel like they're cinematic and that they could be out of a film, and I think the lighting and composition of this shot does just that, as does this one. And I also managed to get a shot of the old style popcorn machine through the window of the cinema. So I just love kind of the Blade Runner vibes and the colours that are coming through on these photographs. This place really reminded me of the cinema from Inglourious Basterds, but luckily we got out of there without being blown to smithereens, so it can't be the same place. There was a silent movie going on, and they had a live band in the orchestra pit, which I just think was incredible and really screamed the nostalgia of this place. Once the cinema goers had left the building, we were allowed to make ourselves familiar and get access to the main auditorium, and I managed to capture this shot of this couple who were clearly dragging out their date, and I just thought this was pretty romantic. They're the only two couple left in the cinema while we were all working around them, and I just like the colours and the composition of this shot. I think it isolates them nicely, and then the greens and the yellows are just pretty cinematic. We couldn't actually prep the cinema because someone had locked the bags in a cupboard, so it was time to go home and get some sleep because I was fucked. Right, it is 7:30. Day one, way up north. Vlogging in the street is awkward. Day one, way up north. It's 7:30, so just going to set up the remaining stuff ready for everyone at 9 o'clock start. Running on fumes, man. I didn't sleep the night before. I travelled, and then I think it was about 1 o'clock when I went to sleep last night, so I'm going to be one of those to power through today. It's going to be mint, because we get to meet everyone, hear the speakers, and see what this conference has got to offer. Coffee. Over the 3 days I was in Berlin, this kind of became my commute to work, and I got quite attached to it. I really enjoyed this walk every morning, and I just became quite familiar with my surroundings. It was a really pleasant walk, and you got good views of the Berlin TV tower and just a good feel of life in Berlin. At 7:30 we were frantically packing bags and goodie bags for all of the delegates. We had 500 of these things to do, and when I tell you that they were hard to roll, they were hard to roll. Every single seat in that cinema was filled with a goodie bag, so well done us. Then it was time for the main event and the show to get started, and each artist came out to an incredible VT that was extremely cinematic and well put together. Now I'm aware I'm saying cinematic a lot during this, however we were in a cinema and it was cinematic, so fucking deal with it. And Magic got the party started, and you can see here all these new people to Way Up North. These were first time attendees and all excited for the week ahead. And then the first presentation around Good Enough. During one of the breaks I got this shot, and I must say I really quite like it. Everything about this works for me. The leading lines, the colours, the light, the silhouette of the subject, and the isolation of the subject as well. Actually, this was one of the speakers making her way down to do her presentation, and I kind of get this feeling of isolation that she might have been feeling at the time, so I really like this shot. And then just a couple of shots of people taking in the presentations. Again, nothing special, but I like the atmosphere and the colours and composition of these shots. I think they tell a story. I don't know. Let's come out for some fresh air and to shoot a bit of street stuff. Berlin is beautiful today. So vibrant, this part of town, just so cool. That coffee was needed, man. Some fresh air now. Try and shoot some street stuff. All the light's pretty nice. There's some cool shadows. Harsh highlights, deep shadows. I buzz off these conditions, especially for street stuff, because it just gives you a lot of contrast. You don't have to focus as much on story. The light can be the story in itself. You get a decent subject falling into that light, then job's a good one. And you can remove a lot of shit from the frame that you don't want. Like, well, there you go. Like these, I didn't want these bikes in the foreground. I could quite easily just get them out of the foreground by just dropping the shadows and then capturing people just jumping into that bit of light like he's just done then. But yeah, we're on 10:30. I've been at it since 7:30, so some fresh air, rejuvenate, and then into the next session.
Problem so incredible. selling albums directly to couples already and making money, cool. But if you're one of those people who don't have a lot of time and don't want to put in the effort, there's money to be had, as Mark will explain.
Yes, I can't explain just yet. But
an element of emotional feeling. This is something that Ollie did.
During the final presentations, I had to go get set up for which would be a pivotal role I played at Way Up North, which would be the king of merchandise and flogging hoodies and t-shirts and bags alike. See what I mean? Complete natural. And that just about wrapped it up for day 1 of Way Up North.
Day 3, day 2 of Way Up North, day 3 for me. Tired again. Not as tired as I was yesterday, which is good. Lovely evening last night. Went for some Vietnamese fusion food. Decent. Tell you what, if you like Vietnamese food and Thai food, you are gonna love Berlin. There's so many restaurants serving that cuisine. But it was good. Took it easy on the beers because I was exhausted yesterday as well. I bailed about 4 o'clock, so I had to get home and get some sleep because I think from the day before it just caught up with me as well. So last day today. Let's get to the conference, get set up for the final day, and then tonight it's the closing party, which I'm looking forward to, which is why I didn't have those beers last night, so I'm saving myself for tonight and to enjoy the last day of Way Up North. So let's get there, let's get set up.
After making the mistake on day 1 of not having any breakfast till the show started, I wasn't going to make the same mistake today, so I rammed down this croissant and coffee and bought myself this peanut nutter milkshake smoothie thing, which was about 1,000 calories but tasted like heaven itself. Then it was just time to quickly say hello to the king and queen of merch who dethroned me about 20 minutes after I moved off the stall.
How are you?
Then it was time for one final team briefing of what we'd need to do to bring this show to a close, and it involves balloons. Stay tuned.
Yeah. Thank you. And like for me personally, it was really like the biggest thing here for me was really afraid of not attracting clients anymore. So I was taking on so many weddings, I got burned out every season. Like, what was I doing wrong?
You learn a lot about yourselves at these things. I think comparison is just natural in life, especially when you do something like an artistic craft like photography or videography. And I got into the trap of comparing my work with everyone else's work, and I've been through that. I've come out the other side of it and feel like I'm pretty tuned in with what I want to shoot now. But the thing I notice at things like this is there's a lot of really fucking cool people in this industry. Like really cool, really fashionable. And not only have they found their style photographically, they've found their style in life, their fashion, they've found their brand, they've found who they are. And the comparison creeps in for me. I'm a 40-year-old dad, I've got a corporate job, and coming to this conference makes me feel like that. It makes me feel, I don't know, I compare myself, my fashion against the other guys. I compare my style, the way I carry myself, and I've fallen into that today, and that's not something I normally do. I think my physical health at the minute isn't where it needs to be, which means I'm not very confident in how I look due to an injury I've got at the minute. But I found myself today more than any other time at any of these conferences comparing myself against everyone. And we are in a really fucking cool city. Berlin is cool. People in Berlin are cool and fashionable. But all the photographers I've been hanging out with are just the most amazing people, but they're just just cool is the word I'd say, and just taking myself away for a bit just to get my head together and stop letting that comparison creep in, because like I said, the comparison of work has been a massive head fuck of mine for however many years, and I seem to have got over that hurdle, and now I seem to be in this comparison of, I don't know what it is, comparison of style, comparison of aesthetic, of how I look, and I don't know, it just feels weird. So I thought I'd be real and just tell you guys that this conference is amazing, and I'm learning little bits about myself as I go through it, but I think it's because of networking with a sheer number of people. It's quite tiring, it's quite fatiguing, it's really inspiring, but yeah, I have found myself in that comparison trap today. Don't know, maybe it's because I'm tired.
Well, after wallowing in self-pity, I took myself off for a walk to clear my head before getting back to my true calling in life. Blowing up giant balloons with a machine. I can't describe how fun this was, and I blew up about 50 of those suckers in about 20 minutes. Now, I'm not saying I was the best one there, that would be egotistical, but I was definitely in the top one. And then it was time for the final presentation of the week by the amazing Mike and Shari from Canada. Just the perfect way to end Way Up North, with a really humbling presentation around balancing work, life and being good enough. Just incredible. Before announcing the next host, which would be Stockholm. Look at those balloons bouncing. That blue one's mine. The orange one's mine. Those two green ones are mine. You know, let's just say they're all mine. On the way back to the after party, I managed to get some portraits of my friend Sam, who just won Videographer of the Year. Well done, sir. Under this massive softbox that was outside the studio keynote, and just love these portraits of Sam. I guess they look, you got it, cinematic, but stills from a film, and I think they just look really great. And this last one was all Sam's art direction and working with Nigel John as well to just get this fun shot for Sam's brand, and just really nice memories of shooting this photograph and the fun we had taking it. Good times. It was then time for the after party, so we left the cameras at home and went out and enjoyed ourselves. Felt rough the next day.
All packed and we are out of here. Rough.
On last day, just took some time to get over the hangovers and have a really chilled day in Berlin, exploring some of the sites in the east of the city, including this sculpture which I couldn't determine what it was. It looks like a giant half pipe, but it's got a shopping trolley on the top. Then took some time to go check out the Berlin Wall and the famous socialist fraternal kiss at the fall of the Berlin Wall. It really was great to check out this east of the city, and I wish I had more time to do some more exploring, but anyway, it was back to the airport. I managed to get this shot using the columns and the light again, but this time from a different direction. I could actually spend a day doing photography at this airport, but it was time to go home, and we were placed back into our holding pen, ready to board the flight, this time at sunset with the obligatory sunset photograph. Just enough time to encroach on this pogo space to grab a sunset photograph as we arrived back into Manchester, and that was it. Way Up North, Berlin, done. Nice.
And that is that. A week in Berlin, well, 4 days in Berlin, at Photography Way Up North conference. Incredible. I loved it, loved every minute of it, loved the people I met. I loved being part of the volunteer team. It was just so good to be on the periphery of loads of different groups. I had a bit of trepidation about going to such a large conference of 500 people, because naturally you're gonna get groups, splinter cells of people who go off and people who form their own friendships and groups that have got their own values, and do you know what, they're not always going to be aligned to your values, and I think I figured out that was fine. I was quite happy being on the periphery of different groups that I could drop in and out of and speak to people and get to know them without feeling obligated about spending my time with everyone and being linked to a certain group for the whole thing. And I also figured out as well that it's all right. You don't have to make friends with everyone. I'm someone who really likes to be liked, and I want to make friends with as many people as possible. But sometimes people just don't share the same values of you, and that's okay. That really is okay. Like, doesn't mean you got to be a dick. You don't have to be not friends with someone or go out your way to be nasty about them. You still got to be respectful and a good human being and everything else. But like, don't go out your way and stress about feeling validated by people who don't share the same values of you, because they're probably not stressing about it. So don't waste your energy on it either. So it was great to be kind of just being able to dip into different groups and then align myself to the people I really wanted to spend my time with. So that was some real good learning for me and some good kind of validation around actually, that was a good enough, you know, I felt good enough to be not in a group. I felt good enough in myself to be me and do my own thing while I was in Berlin, which was good fun. And yeah, I'd definitely go back. I would love to go back again as a volunteer, as part of the team. It's great to feel like you're bringing something together and you're contributing. And it was just great to meet some really amazing people. And I found friends for life. I really have. I've connected with people who I know I'll be friends with for a long, long time. And that's great, because when you go into a place and there's 500 different people and you find people who actually you really connect with, that's fantastic. And the venue was amazing. The Babylon Cinema, it was just incredible. So all in all, I absolutely loved my experience at Way Up North. And they're actually going to Stockholm in fall this year, or autumn if you live in England. So check out their website, Way Up North, if you're a wedding photographer or a videographer and you want to feel inspired and meet some wonderful people. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching this far. If you already have, please leave a comment and like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out and makes me keep wanting to make these videos. And if you were at Way Up North and we didn't connect, or you were at Way Up North and we did connect, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what your thoughts were and experiences of Way Up North. But on that, I'm off. All right then, peace. Give it one of them. Wallop.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.